New polling by Policy Exchange today sheds light on student attitudes towards a vitally important subject, academic freedom on campus. The good news is that not all students are snowflakes. There's a solid caucus of 30% or more who consistently supported the free speech position in every one of the scenarios that we explored. But, and it is a but, there's an equally large number of students who support censorship, and a larger proportion, maybe 40% or so in the middle, who can easily be swayed one way or the other, depending on how the question is framed or the specific scenario. What's perhaps one of the most concerning things about these findings is the way that even mainstream political views are increasingly being seen as unacceptable on campus. For example, fewer than 4 out of 10 Leave-supporting students would feel comfortable sharing their views in class, despite this being an opinion which is shared by more than half of the UK population. And more than a quarter of students thought that Cabinet Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg should be banned from their university. I'd like to be clear, this wasn't asking them whether or not they agreed with him or supported him. This was asking whether he should be banned from campus. As we go forward, it's clear that adopting expressions of support for academic freedom, such as the Chicago Principles, are an important first step, but by no means enough. And that's why our report calls on universities, government and civil society to take a range of measures in order to defend free speech and academic freedom on campus. This would include the appointment of university and national academic freedom champions who could uphold freedom of speech, who could be a source for complaints or whistleblowers, and in the case of the Office for Students, could take a lead in imposing sanctions, including fines on universities which were failing to uphold academic freedom. We also think the government should legislate to make clear that political discrimination is not acceptable, and also to ensure that student unions are subject to the duty on universities to protect freedom of speech. And finally, it would be fantastic if the university rankings included a measure of academic freedom in how they assess universities. Academic freedom and free speech have been absolutely fundamental historically in preserving liberty, and the ability in this country for people to speak freely has spearheaded many of the changes which have transformed society throughout history. If our universities are now becoming a place where free speech is not allowed, that's not good news for any of us.